You know what it is. Welcome to the best coast. Yo, it's Bronze Age nerd with that collecting elite. Big B McFly steady bringing the vintage heat. Pull up a seat, we diving in the stacks. Silver to the bronze, got the knowledge on tap. From Kirby's Kings to the mutants, wow. We breaking it down in that laid-back style. So grab your snacks, let the panels unfold. This is comic book chilling with the stories we told. Comic book vibes, we flipping them pages. Legends and lore from all the ages. Golden to the modern, we talk that news with Big B McFly and the nerd cut loose. Yo, you tune into that Bronze Age flow, where comics live and legends grow. Big B McFly in the cut, let's fly. Best coast, baby, comics are what saved me. Big B, yeah. Best coast, baby, comics are what saved me.
Yo, 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 what's up? It is Best Coast Comics. I'm one of your hosts, Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and I am joined, as always, over this last year and some change by my intrepid co-host,
Big B McFly, the comic guy.
That's right, going with the OG. I love it. I love it. So as I just kind of alluded to there too, we've been doing this for over a year, so this is going to be a little bit different show.
We forgot to say anything though. We totally.
Yeah, so Bigby pointed it out that like we kind of just let the year anniversary slip by and we didn't even acknowledge it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of reflect on the last year, but we're also gonna kind of just have a hangout show. There's not really like a hard-hitting comic book topic, but we're gonna talk about comic books. We're gonna talk about our lives, what we got going on, what's been going on the last year, all that fun stuff, right?
Right. I got like I got my playlist of all of our old shows, so I can kind of go. Remember that time?
Remember when?
Remember when we talked about Roy Thomas created everything?
Oh yeah. I mean, we all know Roy Thomas created everything from Battle Beast to Wolverine, right?
Right. I mean, he created Sydney Sweeney, right?
He did create Sydney Sweeney. I'm not going to do the drop just yet. I gotta wait for somebody out there to do that drop, but we do have a drop for that. Before we get into the show too far, I do want to take a second to point out, for those of you that just joining in here at the top of the show, we are streaming to a couple different channels. So you might be watching this on Big B McFly, the comic book guys channel over on YouTube. You might be watching over on my Bronze Age Nerd YouTube channel, or you could be watching on any of the EXP social media networks, including their YouTube channel. Links for all those are in the description. I highly recommend subscribing and following all those channels. Folks, I'm curious in the chat, how many people got the reference in the thumbnail? Because I was surprised. I showed it to a couple people and they had no idea what it was. They're like, "Are you eating cereal?" Like, well, kind of. She was like, my wife was like, "Are you feeding cereal to Bigby?" I don't really get it. And I was like, "It's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids." So I was curious. I guess I just told everybody if they didn't know.
Watching this on PBS. There we go.
Say hello to everybody that was in chat, including the very first comment we have here, which is from GT Key Comic.
Back in there.
Medalist. Yeah, he decided he was tired of that bronze or platinum medal or whatever he was getting before. But Richard's coming in strong with that the bronze and that silver medal, which we always appreciate. We got Rich Stankey here, who's a regular contributor to our community art, which we will have up later in the program, including a new piece from Rich. So definitely stick around if you want to check that out. If you want to send us some artwork, you got to quickly either do one or send one off to us, and we'll see if we can get you in the show. Hydra Asylum's the first here. I'm gonna guess he means over on the EXP. That's what I'm assuming.
And uncovered territory there.
Whoa! Richard's trying to start a battle here. Team Bigby. Hey, you know what? I'm Team Bigby too. I'm Team Bigby. He knows how to pick an X. Depends on your goals, man. If I definitely could have drafted that team too. Like I have no problem drafting that team. But I started out strong with
grabbing that team, or
yes. Hey, thanks, Richard. Thank
you. It's been a great year.
It has been a great year. He made a soundboard for the occasion. What is up, Derek? How's it going? Team Big B's. Team Big D's. So we don't have any format we have to worry about. We're gonna do the community artwork, of course. We have plenty of news we could talk about. We'll see if we get there. But I'm curious. What I want to know is not only is it our anniversary, Big B, but it's also the day after your birthday.
Yes.
So happy birthday again. I told you yesterday, but happy birthday, for the sake of the stream. Did you end up doing anything fun for your birthday?
Travis from Comics Limited and my friend Pete, two of my friends we've been friends since junior high school. So like 40 plus years.
I think you mean 20 plus years.
Yeah, 20 plus years. Plus another 20. We hung out and watched some movies and went to dinner. They treated me to dinner. It was really nice. And then
Nice.
On my actual birthday, I went to dinner with my wife and my son, and they took me to dinner as well. So that was very nice. So
Right on.
Yeah,
That's cool.
enjoyable. And I got all kinds of awesome birthday wishes, and Bronze kept telling me I needed to wish for things.
You just kept saying comics, and I'm like, well, that narrows it down.
I said, well, it's not like my family is going to get me comics.
Well, yeah, but I need to know which ones you're on the hunt for, man.
I did do this weekend. I spent a lot of time rearranging the Big B Burrow, so it will be ready for the Mission 22 fundraiser. So.
Heroes for Heroes coming up June 28th. Everybody mark the date. A couple things have rolled in. We definitely, if you have donations of items you want us to auction off in the name of Mission 22 to raise money for our veterans and their mental health and their families as well, then go ahead and send those donations in. Things like key comic books or signed books or hot artists or original art, those kinds of things tend to do really well. That said, any donations that you want to send in, we will find a good use for it. I mean, I've had people send in short boxes of, quarter books, and we were adding those as extras into people's boxes that wanted them one year. We kind of were doing like almost grab bags kind of.
We talked about making some bundles or something. That would be kind of fun. So whatever you guys want to donate, we're more than open to having donations sent. So
100%. Yes, Richard, we absolutely would love some help this year.
Absolutely, sir.
It
was awesome having you here last year.
Yeah, you were I'd say a third pillar, but we had other help too. I don't want to.
It was me, you, Richard, and Trav in the house.
Now, Trav came later,
right?
And but he did a huge amount of help on the shipping and packing.
For sure,
orders and stuff, and that was because that's something that you and I both kind of, I think it's fair to say we struggle with. I think that's fair to say it.
Yeah. It's almost something I'm trying to overcome. It's a goal for the year. So it's one of those things.
Oh, right on. That's good to know. Hey, right, we love to hear it, Richard. That's awesome.
That's super cool, man.
Yeah. It was very nice seeing you. Hopefully
we'll have to go out and have breakfast and coffee and walk out on the dock again.
And I'll try to make sure I'm able to be part of that this year as well, because I didn't know you were coming until the last minute. It seemed like kind of almost. So that was awesome. At least that's what it felt like to me.
So I'll spring something on you totally off the cuff that we haven't even talked about. That was kind of cool. It's not going to happen this year, but so the day before my birthday, I went and picked up another big bulk collection, and the place that I buy them from, her husband works for Image Comics, and I was chatting with him, and I was like, so what does your job entail? Because part of it I knew he was like a proofer for covers and stuff, and he said he's the person who helps people make exclusive covers. And I was like, oh, and I said, how? So give me some. What's the 411 on that? And he's like, 500 books, not real expensive. He's like, and if you're an artist and you want to get your stuff out there, you can use your own art. I was like, so we could make like a Heroes for Heroes G.I. Joe issue with my art on it. I was like, holy crap, that would be so cool. So that's something to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we'll definitely have to talk about that. Yeah, it's funny the kind of contacts we've made like through doing this, like it's just interesting. Like the like I've been talking to people because of like things that Richard has done, stuff that other people have helped out with, stuff that you've helped out with, and we're all kind of networking, and it's great because people are coming together for an important cause. And so I really like to see it. Really makes me feel good. Hey John, how's it going? Welcome to the show, John.
Sorry to spring that on you, but I
no,
thought it was kind of a cool opportunity, possibly. So
never apologize about cool opportunities being sprung on me. That's awesome.
You're like, put me on the spot.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Just that, it's something we're definitely gonna have to explore and talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
We got Chris Comic Tropes in the house. What's up? Chris had Tom Snogoski on his show earlier. He's a great fun. I've had him on my show. He's a really fun person to talk to. Lots of storied history in comics. He's one of those kind of like almost, I would say, like unsung heroes of comic books, because you've probably read Tom Snogoski comics and may not have realized it.
Right. There's a lot of people out there that are part of the comics mythos that you don't realize how much of a role they played in the books that you love, I'm sure.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Kind of most recently he's been doing stuff for Dynamite. Like I know he did the Vampaverse kind of stuff. And then he just did, was it Herculoids? I think he did some other stuff too. So we got a lot of our regulars in, which is very fitting for kind of this anniversary show. For those of us that may have just joined in, for those of you that may have just joined in, it's going to be a little bit more free form. We're going to kind of just chill. We're going to reflect on stuff. I was going to ask you, speaking of springing things, this is kind of my version of springing it. So we've been doing this for a little more than a year. Right. What'd you say? It was March, something that like late March that we started last year?
Yeah, it was. I had the date when I put the post up, but yeah, March,
something like that.
March of last year, yeah.
So in that time frame, has there been anything? Well, I hope there's several things, but what's the number one thing that you've kind of enjoyed about where the show has kind of gone, or where this kind of partnership has gone since then? Has there been anything that you've kind of learned, or anything that you've kind of been really enjoying? Anything like that that comes to mind?
I think one of the most important like touchstone things for me about the show was like you and I doing SummerCon together last year, and riding up together and really getting to know each other a lot better, and really cementing that foundation of friendship of like, okay, this is going to be probably a lifelong friendship, so
yeah, for sure.
It's really cool. So
I can totally relate to that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was probably, but
thanks, John.
There's been so many amazing highlights. I mean, the Mission 22 thing was huge. I mean, just all the great guests we've had. Let's do a trivia thing. Does anybody know who our first guest was on the show? It was in the first show.
Yeah, that's a good. So there's a little bit of a delay and everything too. So we'll give you guys about a minute to think of that. See if you can come up with it. No cheating. No going to the YouTubes and looking at our video history.
Right.
Or if you're gonna do that, open a tab for each video and keep those rolling.
Right. Keep them running. And, yeah. 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 But yeah, we had a guest on our very first show.
Very first show. Last minute guest too.
Yeah. A very well-known guest. So.
Pretty well known. It does stuff to this day that people encounter on a regular basis. So I asked the question, it's only fair that I answer it too. So for me, I just wanted to throw out there that there's a lot. First of all, thank you, Brian, for all the stepping up you've done, like as far as like I barely kind of knew you in a lot of ways, and I asked you to kind of join this adventure with me, and you were just down for it. And I think we got along pretty quickly, so I think it wasn't like we were completely we're complete strangers or anything like that. We weren't a 80s sitcom like Perfect Strangers or anything like that. But and then I asked you to come on board and help out with Heroes for Heroes, or really you more volunteered, and you were willing to help out with that, and that's a huge undertaking. And so you've been really a huge help in that way. So I appreciate that. Just wanted to say that first of all. And then the big thing that's kind of stuck with me is this last year has been really difficult for me for content creation. I've had a lot of just personal kind of hangups about content creation that have really kind of gotten to me. But being here with you every, mostly every Monday. In the beginning, we were doing like every other week or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of really helped me kind of get over that to the point where I was willing to start doing like pre-recorded content again, which I wasn't doing for a while. Kind of being out there more in the comic book sphere. And you really kind of helped me kind of, come out of that shell by just being there, which I really appreciate. So
yeah, I echo that sentiment right back at you, man. It's just like when you and I started talking, it's like we're just like two peas in a pod on a lot of things. And it was just like a lot of the struggles that we both experienced a lot of the same things. So it's like,
yeah,
it's like really cool to have somebody to talk about that kind of stuff. And
for
kind
sure.
of yin and yang, like when one person is, struggling, the other person can lift the other person up. So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a term I became familiar with because of like ADHD struggles called body doubling. And it's kind of like the idea of like, for some reason, people with ADHD, I'm not really 100% sure why, do better if there's somebody in the room kind of almost like silently holding them accountable in a way, like not judging or anything like that, but just
right.
You're more likely to get stuff done if they're there. And even if they're just there and you're just talking to them, you're more likely to get stuff done. But also if they're doing what you're doing, that's even better. It's even more conducive to a positive work environment. And that's definitely been true for me with you. So
yeah, I'm really lucky to have like two people like that in my life, like you and Trav, like really can help me out with a lot of like inspiration to get out and get things done. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that.
I appreciate you, man.
Well, I very much appreciate you. The whole show is not just gonna be us patting each other on the back or anything like that, even though it's important to show. It's important. It's important. But I just wanted to let people know, we are gonna get to some more comic type stuff content as well. We did mention Heroes for Heroes a couple times. Before I move on, we're gonna kind of do this on the lead up to Heroes for Heroes 2025. The page is live right now. I'm gonna paste that link in the chat on all the different channels. You'll see that link popping in there for everybody. We mentioned this last week, and this is a huge kudos to Big B for having his company kind of reached out and did the process for a corporate donation, and they were willing to donate $2,000. So that's amazing.
Off to the races, right?
Yeah. You're waiting for some better hands up to the screen. That comes later. A little window love. But we're at $2,000. We have a $5,000 goal this year because we're doing it in a shortened time frame. We knew that it'd be harder to get some of the same participation. Like I have a hard time going up to artists and asking them, hey, can we get some original art for this cause? The cause emboldens me to the point where I'm more able to do that. But it's still, you're asking them to donate their time and take away from the work they're doing and commissions and all that. And so I think there is kind of a certain level of responsibility there. So to turn around 6 months later after doing this and be like, hey, I know you just did that thing for it. It's really difficult for me. And I'm willing to make some exceptions with some people because they've just the level of support that they've offered, even if they're too busy. I don't mind asking them, but it's going to make us approach some new artists, see if there's some artists that want to contribute, because that original art is a huge draw for people coming in. And then also, people are willing to donate those comics, but that's updated where we're at for Heroes for 2025. It's June 28th. It'll be streaming on the Bronze Age Nerd YouTube channel. Try to keep it all kind of consolidated in one spot and share one link out for everybody. And then there was a weird typo with my email address that was fixed on that webpage. So if you go there and you want to reach out about donating anything, my email address is correct on there now. It's not like a weird double repeated kind of thing. And you can contact me there. That's also an official website from Mission 22, which is an outstanding charity. You can go back on my channel and watch an interview I did with one of their representatives, kind of talking about it and what they do for veterans. If you want to get a little bit more information on how that works, I highly recommend that. So that's coming up quick. It's next month. So I would be lying if I said the pressure wasn't on a little bit to kind of get some stuff done and get moving on that. So
that was part of why I was down there tearing things apart, because it was a pit down there. I needed to clean it up.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. That's gonna be big. It was big last year because trying to host that from my place, we were outgrowing the space I have here for that kind of stuff. So that's Mission 22 and Heroes for Heroes. Did anybody think of the guest that we had on? Anyone want to
we
offer?
had a guess. We had a guess of Roy Thomas.
Roy Thomas, yeah. It was, it was Roy Thomas, actually. That's the funny thing about it. No, it wasn't. I'd love to talk to the guy. I saw a post. Gosh, who was it? Somebody came out in defense of Roy Thomas and the whole Wolverine thing, actually. Really? Somebody who worked at Marvel at the time. Can't remember who it was, but I was just reading about that. My memory has failed me. But that was kind of just in the news. Should we reveal it since nobody has a guess?
Yeah, we could. Yeah, let's reveal it.
Okay.
Who was it? Who was it, Chris?
It was Stan Lee through a Ouija board. No, that was bad taste. Sorry. It was Swaggle House, Mickey from Swaggle House Comics. Huge shout out to Mickey for doing that. It was kind of serendipitous because he was trying to promote his Sanity comic a little bit. But he was also just down to come hang out, and he hung out the whole show, and we talked some comic speculation stuff and all kinds of fun stuff.
It's a great show for a first show.
Yeah. And it's all been downhill. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, absolutely.
No show to answer high five yet. Biggie's working on it. Clearly, he's workshopping it. we would need your expertise, comic tropes. I think that's the real.
Yes, we'll have to get with you during SummerCon and work on that.
We do have like a decoder ring that we're working on. Is Ovaltine even around anymore? I don't know.
Eat your Ovaltine.
I feel like the brand is still around, but maybe I'm wrong. Man, I had a whole bunch of dental work done this morning, and so I'm like, I don't know what it is. I had several like fillings done. It wasn't anything too crazy, but I'm just like wiped out. I'm like really thirsty and stuff. So I'm sorry if I'm like a little low energy. Just
mellow.
Real life. And then my daughter had a dental appointment this afternoon, so we had to take her to that. So it's just been a dental filled day.
Wow.
So it's been kind of interesting. Well, as I yawn. Oh, sorry. Promise I'm not like passing out, but it's been a rough week.
So what have you been watching during that rough week?
So during that rough week, that's a great question. So we have this this topic where we kind of talk about all the stuff we've been absorbing media wise. I've been watching Andor. I'm about 4 or I can't remember, around 4 or 5 for season 2 of Andor. And then we just started, and when I say we, it's me and the Copper Age Babe, my lovely wife. We just started season 2 of Last of Us. We watched the first episode of that last night. And we did all that because we were watching Shrinking, which is a fantastic show on Apple Plus that has Harrison Ford is a big kind of starring role in it as a elder psychiatrist at an office where there's 3 psychiatrists, and the main character is Jason Segel, whose wife was killed in a car accident. And it's kind of him like about a year later trying to kind of pick up the pieces with his daughter because he kind of fell apart and wasn't there for his daughter. And he's trying to put his life back together and kind of try to cope and deal with what happened instead of trying to push it down with like drugs and alcohol and move on. It's a very funny show. That doesn't sound funny, but it's kind
of funny at all.
It's a dark comedy. It's actually a very clever, witty show. Don't kiss Jason Segel, he smokes. Maybe I like that. No, I actually don't like that.
Ron's like licking ashtrays.
I'll never forget the first time I kissed a smoker. That was a very, very weird feeling. But now I only kiss a smoke show, and that's the Copper Age Babe. Very different. And it's a great show. So we finished up that because I'd already seen it. She decided to kind of dive in and check it out. So we finished up that in getting ready for season 3 coming out. And then I've been rewatching The Sopranos. Love The Sopranos, one of my favorite shows. I don't think I've ever rewatched it before though, since it was originally on. I think I kind of was like, oh yeah, cool. And the ending is, kind of notorious. I think it just kind of was fine for me for a while. And I've been rewatching that by myself, and I'm in season 2 of that. I love it. Who's Cindy Sweeney?
Cindy Sweeney?
Cindy Sweeney? Cindy Sweeney. I mean, I'm familiar with somebody else. Gosh, what is her name?
I have an action figure, Sydney.
Sydney? Oh, Sydney Savage. But wait, no, Sydney Savage Sweeney. Is that what it is?
Something like that.
Sydney Sweeney. That's right.
Their own show.
Yeah, they do have their own show. I think it was called Euphoria on HBO. To answer Hydra Asylum Comics question, by the way, Hydra Asylum Comics, go give them a follow over on YouTube. This is JR, producer, who is part of Hydra Asylum Comics. Ted McGinley is in the show. He plays a charming character. It is like essentially Jason Segel's neighbor's husband, because the wife is kind of more the main friend of his, because she's been raising his daughter while he's been out getting prostitutes and drinking and kind of ruining his life. So it's a really, really touching show though. It hits a lot of heartstrings.
Yeah, sounds like it. So yeah,
I couldn't tell you. I use a service called Suno to create that. It's like a paid AI generated service that I used for that.
The Sweeney singers.
Yeah. That is the only reason I was here. Richard's out. He's out. Peace. But yeah, I did all the video editing on that. And there's a couple different versions of the song. I still need to finalize the heavy metal clip. So I can play that one, because there is one that's just heavy metal basically, with the same lyrics. But yeah. Anyways, I was watching Shrinking. Great show.
When you get to certain points, you'll know when you get to certain points in Last of Us. Just message me and tell me what you think.
Yeah, the first episode was pretty good. I just wanted to kind of keep watching more of it, but it was pretty late when we watched it.
It's a good show. It's a good show.
Season 1 is still one of my favorite, because I never played Last of Us Part 2 the game, but I did play the first one, and it's a really good video game adaptation, like probably the best of all time for season 1. I've heard things about season 2, but yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything specific. I've just heard a lot of grumbling. Hey, what's up, Travis?
Still, it's dark. That's all.
Yeah. What else have I been watching?
You had a lot of love headed your way there at the beginning of the show, so you have to rewatch it.
Yeah, absolutely, Travis. We started watching Mobland too. We watched the first episode of that.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. I'm up on that. It's really good.
Yeah, that was kind of another one that we were excited to get started on.
I mean, what a star-studded cast in that too, right? I mean, like,
yeah. One, I love Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren. I mean, it's a good cast.
And all the supporting actors are really good too.
Nice. I think that's all I've been watching. It's enough. How about you?
I mean, I'm watching a lot of the same stuff you are. I'm watching Mobland, Andor. I'm not through with it, but I've heard my friends are raving about the ending of it, so I'm gonna have to get caught up. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the same shows that you're watching. Don't know if I watched. Did I watch any movies this week?
I don't know.
Watch any movies.
Movies. Talking pictures.
Them talkies.
Talkies. Yeah.
Yeah. No, nothing. I don't think I watched any movies this week. But yeah.
Let me ask you a different question then. Along those lines, since you didn't watch any movies, I didn't really watch any. I feel like I did watch a movie, but I can't remember what it was. Out of all the movies coming out, what are you most excited for?
Coming out?
Yes.
Like coming out in the theaters?
Yes.
I thought, well, you know, if you went like coming to streaming or coming to theaters.
No, I realize it's a very hard question in 2025 because there's a lot of different reasons.
You know, I am like, I think equally excited for Superman and Fantastic Four. I'm like, the one I was the most excited for was Thunderbolts, and that did not disappoint.
Yeah, agreed.
I think I know a lot of people are not jazzed about the Superman trailer. No, I won't say a lot of people. Some people are not jazzed about the Superman trailer.
I'm one of them.
I thought it was awesome.
I don't know why I didn't enjoy it as much as everybody else. I felt weird, like not enjoying it. I think
Are you reserving judgment? Is that what it is? You don't want to be disappointed again?
I mean, that's definitely part of it. It's just that I remember the first trailer that came out. I saw like the extra footage that was as part of Minecraft, for like the Fortress of Solitude scene. I enjoyed that trailer quite a bit. Like I was actually pretty excited. This trailer, I always feel like I'm going to mispronounce his name. David Cornsweet.
Cornsweet.
Yeah.
Jay'll correct us.
Yeah, and Jay, by all means, you can chime in here because I know you're.
Yes, this is your forte. Please, by all means.
There's that scene in this new trailer where he's talking to Lois, and it's an interview, and they're kind of they're not kind of, but they're interviewing as Superman. He's doing this interview, and he did not come across like Superman to me. Like I was not getting the gravity of Superman.
See, I thought that to me, when it started off like the interview from the original Christopher Reeve, where she's like Miss Lane. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like it just, and then it went off the rails to like how a real couple would talk, you know.
Sure.
I was like, really, this is how you're going to be? And I was like, wow, this isn't, you know, how the respectful, you know, yes, ma'am, Superman that we're used to. I mean, it was more of like a real couple talking to each other. But I don't know. I thought that was actually kind of interesting, though, that she was kind of just letting him have it, you know. So
I can see though why that would throw a little, you know, that would throw people off, because they're used to that Superman that when Lois says something, he's kind of a little, yeah, you're probably right. This one is like, no, there were people in danger. People could have died. This is who I am. This is what I do. I don't care if the rest, like, if the president doesn't agree with what I'm doing. It's not about that. It's not about the United States. It's not about America. Right. It's about saving people. Like,
right.
David Cornsweet, to me, I've been kind of like, okay, you look like Superman. Okay, you do have the Superman look. But it wasn't until this trailer when I heard him talk and kind of heard what he stands for that I was like, okay, you're Superman.
Okay.
You have me in all the way now, because that's the one thing that people said about Henry Cavill. And again, I loved Henry Cavill. I loved Man of Steel. They said that the personality of Henry's Clark and Superman were exactly the same. You couldn't really tell them apart.
Yeah. I do not think Henry Cavill did a very good Clark.
No, he didn't. I can agree with that wholeheartedly.
Oh, but I'm sorry. I should rephrase that. The films that he was in did not do a very good job of portraying Clark, and that could have been the writing, that could have been the directing, it could have been Henry Cavill, and it could have been a combination of all three, which is what I really suspect. I'm not going to lay that all on Henry Cavill's feet.
And that's accurate, because Henry always wanted to play that beacon of hope, that light in the darkness type Clark and Superman. Sure. The writing never gave him that chance.
Yeah.
David's is already like, hey buddy, eyes up here. That spot right there in that trailer, I was like, this guy is Clark Superman to a T. He's going to do a fantastic job. But I can also see why people be trepidatious about it. But again, it's one of those, I'm already excited for it. It's Superman. Nice. I'm a Superman mark. So I can talk about how excited I am, but I'm not going to give like an opinion like some people will until the lights go up in the theater and the credits end. So
100%. That's exactly what I was going to say, Jay, is I don't want anybody to take my seeming negativity here to be like, hopefully if you're watching me or if you watch me long enough, you know that's not my style anyway, but I'm not like, oh man, DC's wrecked already. Like there's way too much of that going on, and it's stupid and ridiculous. I hate it, frankly. I'm just like, I didn't feel it as much as I wanted to at this point with Superman, just around the corner. I'm still going to watch it, and I'm still hoping for the best. Like I want it to be awesome, because I'm right there with people. I think the majority of people want a good Superman movie. It's important, and we haven't seen one in a while, depending on, everybody's different takes. It's been a while. So I'm really excited. And I actually enjoyed Man of Steel. I think it was a flawed film, but I did enjoy it. Mostly because of Henry Cavill. I think he brought a gravitas to the Cape character. I think that's a very interesting comment about the Clark part, because I think that was a huge part of it. But I think it was part of his, they kind of screwed up Jonathan Kent a little bit. They kind of screwed up, a little bit of all of that. I think people very much latched onto that. It was trying to be maybe a little too edgy or something.
And not to cut you off with that, that was a main problem I had. I can honestly forgive the Zod thing happening. I can. But the fact is, you are not going to have Paul Kent or Ma Kent tell Clark that at all costs protects this secret, even if it means that a busload of children would die.
Yeah.
Right. Or, hey, you can move faster than people can blink, but I'm just going to let this tornado suck me up. Like, you can't have a good Clark and a good Superman without the Kents. Good Kents that teach him the values that they instill in him.
Yeah.
So that's where they really messed up, was making them very, no, you don't save anybody. Don't do any of that. You have to protect the secret.
Yeah.
Let people die if you have to. And that's just not who the Kents are.
There was definitely like some attempts at stuff in Man of Steel. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, but there was like, I think that there was kind of an attempt to maybe move away from the traditional lore of Superman in a very conscious effort. And I can appreciate that in a way, because it's like, hey, we have seen a lot of Superman, but I also feel like right now, regardless of previous Superman films that have come out with, like, the Brandon Routh stuff and with the Henry Cavill stuff, regardless of the last couple interpretations we've had of Superman, I personally feel like we do need a more traditional Superman. Like, I feel like we need more of that on screen. I think we need to capture, if you're going to get closer to the Christopher Reeve version, you're probably going to do better, but it has to be brought forward in some ways, because otherwise you're just retreading old ground too. That's just kind of where I'm at with it. And that's what I'm hoping to get out of the new film. But we'll see. I'm optimistic that it could be a great film. And the biggest thing that makes me optimistic is I think James Gunn is somebody who I feel like has the capability of doing this film justice. So,
right.
And all trailers can be taken out of context or edited poorly, or, there's the controversy in this one too about how he doesn't blink when the can's thrown at him now, which personally I thought was weird in the first trailer. I was like, hey, why does he? you know, it seemed a little strange, but now he doesn't. They fixed that or changed it or whatever.
Right.
Comic tropes, there's very little chance of that happening, no matter what. Unless there's children present in the theater, I'm not talking about that. And there probably will be because it's a Superman movie. So I guess it's a bad example. Is there something that happened with that? Like, I feel like I've seen some references to something about that. Did something happen recently?
I don't know.
Wasn't there someone that went to watch Madam Web and was busted doing something like that in the theater to the Sydney Sweeney?
There was a politician, I think, but I thought there maybe was something more recently.
Oh,
I've seen like 2 or 3 references to that in the last couple of days, but I didn't know what it was. That's what we call it when I unzip my pants. We call it the Snyder Cut. How did you know that, Richard? I guess you really are everywhere. Hey, Gazi, you've joined us at a great time. I don't know whether to apologize or commend you for joining us right now. But yeah, I mean, look, for those that may not know, Jay is kind of a massive Superman fan. As you just said, he's a mark for Superman. So he's you know, the I wouldn't even really say the target demographic probably, but he is in the camp for sure that's going to be their day one to see this movie, minute one, I'm sure. I'm probably not getting so Thunderbolts. I wanted to watch it opening weekend and I couldn't. Fantastic Four, I really do want to watch. Maybe not a Thursday midnight showing, but opening weekend. That's kind of where I'm at. That Superman, I think I could probably wait a week or two, but I do want to see it. It's pretty big for me. What's up, Dracula? We started talking about unzipping pants, and Dracula shows up like clockwork. Every time I feel like that's just what happens. So I guess the answer to my own question there for me is probably Fantastic Four. So probably I'm guessing for Jay, it was foregone conclusion that it was Superman. Big B, you're kind of tied on a couple films, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think FF and Superman. I'm excited for both of them.
For me, it's FF right now. Although I am strangely, I'll word this in the most awkward way possible. I'm strangely aroused by the new Jurassic World film. I want to see that film. And what I mean by that is, even though a lot of them are terrible, I still want to see every friggin' one of them. And I've said before, I think I said it on this show, I'm a big Scarlett Johansson fan. And she had this like whole passionate plea to be in a Jurassic World film. And I'm excited for her. It's a weird thing to be a cheerleader for a super celebrity, but I'm really hoping that it's a good film for her because I know she's wanted to do it. You know, she's almost literally my age, and she grew up with Jurassic Park in the same way that I did. You know, like she talks about being in a Jurassic Park tent in her living room and sleeping in it and stuff like that. And you know, hey, that's awesome. I want to see, you know, somebody who's been a Star Wars fan their entire life, who ends up in Star Wars, somebody who's been, you know, whatever franchise fan, Marvel franchise fan, and they end up in the movies or whatever. I want to see them succeed in it. I think that's fun. It's a good story.
There's the is it what's the name of the comedian that ended up in Mandalorian, who he was always bashing Star Wars fans?
Bill Burr.
Yeah.
And
they're like, hey, you want to be in a Star Wars movie? He's like, oh, heck yeah.
I think it was mostly because it was Jon Favreau asking him. I feel like that had a lot to do with it. And his character, his first episode was great. And his second episode that he was in, I was really skeptical, but they turned it around big time by the time it paid off. There's a scene where he's like in the officers' quarters, and he used to be in the Empire, and so he's got like this background, and he kind of has this bias, and it's really a great scene. I love that.
Yeah. Bye, Trav. Good to see you, man. Thank you for all the awesome fun this weekend hanging out.
We got too graphic for him. He's like, I gotta turn this show off. So Jay, that was you saying that Tyler Hoechlin's become your favorite.
Oh yeah, you know, for a while it was. What I've always said, Christopher Reeve and George Reeves, they get their own category. They, like, those are the kind of the untouchable Supermen for me.
Yeah.
But of the 2000s, Tyler has definitely become like his Clark and his Superman, and people kind of give that show crap because Tyler's not the biggest guy. He's somewhat quote unquote short to be Superman, but
he's a little short for a Superman. Yeah,
he's so great though. His Clark and his Superman are just fantastic. So
his Superman, especially, it has that like he's smiling and he's like he can kick some ass. No problem.
The minute I knew I was going to love that show because I liked how he acted when they brought him into Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay. The minute I knew I was going to love Lois or Superman and Lois was when they kind of do that scene from Action Comics #1 with the green car.
Yeah.
And he walks up to that little boy, hands him his hat, and he's wearing that homemade costume. And the little boy says, "Cool costume." And he goes, "Thanks. My mom made it for me." And boom, just shoots off into that was it for me. That was it.
Yeah. No, I really like that interpretation of the character quite a bit as well. Like surprisingly, quite a bit. I think it was just hard for me because it was kind of sharing the same time space as Henry Cavill on the big screen a little bit of crossover. And man, I feel like Hugh Jackman got done dirty on some of the Wolverine stuff and never getting his moment until some of it with Deadpool and Wolverine, like costume wise and a couple other things. I feel like Henry Cavill got done dirty a little bit on Superman because he never really got his big hero beacon moment, like you were saying, Jay, in my opinion. I mean, he kind of did through like his symbolism of his death, but that's kind of hard to make that count because he literally wasn't there for it, and the resurrection stuff was weird, right? So
we didn't even have a Man of Steel 2 before we went into the death of Superman.
Right, exactly. It was bizarre. And the final thing I want to say about Man of Steel, because I did mention I liked it earlier, the wanton destruction at the end of it was a little crazy. And then his handling of Zod was a little crazy as well. But I enjoyed his whole run there. I do want to say this comment got mentioned a while ago, and I want to get to a couple other comments that came since then. But Richard asked us, for both of us, do we enjoy binge watching or watching episode to episode? Big B, why don't you take this one?
I like to binge watch. I like to watch huge chunks of something in one big stretch. I don't like to wait.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I'm fully on board with that myself because the week to week thing worked for me for shows like my favorite show that I ever watched week to week back when there was possibly a choice, because you and me were of an age where we remember, and a lot of our viewers too, we remember when there wasn't a choice, that this is what you got. But Lost, I watched the first season on DVD, and then I had the choice. I was like, well, I could just keep waiting to watch this show on DVD, or I think eventually they were doing like you could watch it online on abc.com or something. But I waited week to week to watch that show, and the buildup for waiting week to week for that show was a huge benefit to it, especially in the middle seasons, because you got to like theory craft and you got to talk with people online, and it was kind of the early days somewhat of that kind of internet watch along kind of thing back before it got kind of toxic. But now these days I'd rather binge for sure, because I could watch week to week if I want to. Binging I have the choice.
Well, there were shows, I mean, back in the day when you didn't have a choice, that I loved waiting the week to week, like X-Files and stuff like that. I loved the suspense of waiting week to week. But
yeah, absolutely. For me, it mattered more when I had like a family unit, like my parents and we would wait a week to watch like Quantum Leap, or we would X-Files or some stuff like that, and that was different because we were watching it together, literally in the same room as a family. Now, most of my friends and stuff, like we just talk about it online anyway, and we kind of talk about it at our own pace. And I have different friends that are at different points in different shows. And I will tell you the one thing, Richard, they can go binge watch, drop everything at once, or episode to episode. Any show that drops like 2 or 3 episodes one week and then randomly drops like 1 episode the next week and then 2 episodes the weekend, I hate that. Do one or the other. I don't understand. If you're going to drop like 3 episodes of an 8-episode show at first, come on. Like that's most of the show.
Right.
So great question, Richard. Comic Trope says, do you think the new Superman, by the way, thank you very much, Comic Tropes, for the super chat. I want to make sure I acknowledge that first. Do you think the new Superman movie will replace the John Williams score with Save Me by Remy Zero to hook the kids? To get that 35 and up Smallville crowd.
I like that song.
I cannot hear that song without thinking about that show. It's impossible.
It's a great song.
It's a great song, man. That show. No, I don't think they'll do that, by the way. But that show stretched it out way too long.
Right.
That's a show that should have been done on that 5 seasons.
Jay, even being a Superman fan, has thoughts on that.
I really do, and I completely agree with you. They could have cut probably maybe 2-3 seasons tops out of that show, but the thing that they did that made it kind of work is even in the weak episodes, they would plant a seed. So you would have something happen in like season 2, episode 5 that would pay off season 9, episode 6. But yeah. they could have shortened that. There were some episodes where I was like, we didn't really need this episode. So, but yeah. And Remy Zero, that's a great pull, Comics Tropes. Absolutely. I love that song and I love that show.
We got to take a second to acknowledge baby together. Let's both say hi, Christina.
Hi, my friend Christina.
Promise, I was just lost up higher in the chat. We weren't ignoring you.
I was like
some bearded YouTubers save me. No one wants to hear me sing that song. Probably Comic Tropes does, but he's a sadist.
Wants to hear a duet.
Let's just say not in my register.
It's a little on the high side.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm most curious to hear what Jay's answer is, though.
Voice wise, Clancy Brown.
Oh, sure. Yeah, okay. That's kind of almost cheating.
For we didn't get enough time with Michael Cudlitz, but I really enjoyed his Lex on Superman and Lois. But I got to go with Rosenbaum, Michael Rosenbaum. Just the character arc that he took Lex through in that show on Smallville was great. It's going to be hard to top it.
Wait,
that
not Jesse
Eisenberg, where you're rooting for Lex, almost, right?
You mean I still to this day I know that he was supposed to be Lex, but I'm like, nah, that was Alexander Luthor Jr., the clone. Okay, that wasn't actually Lex.
Yeah,
that couldn't have been. They couldn't have done Lex like that, but they did.
Yeah, Michael Rosenbaum, it's hilarious in a way. And I think he's kind of talked about this in the he does a podcast called Inside of You, I think.
Yes.
That sounded wrong when I was just going to say the title out loud, but yeah, I think that's kind of the double entendre title. I think he's talked about this before, kind of, I think some guest asked him basically, it'd be crazy if he came back and played Lex Luthor now.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, I'd like to see it. I did like I'm blanking on his name right now. The guy who was the John Cryer in the TV, like the Legends and the crossover Infinite Crisis stuff.
The Supergirl Lex?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He was fun. I'm not saying he was the best. I'm trying to think of ones that we haven't talked about. I mean, obviously we should mention Gene Hackman, but I don't think he was the best Lex Luthor. I mean, that was actually probably one of the weaker parts of those movies to me. For the time, I give it a lot of credit, but looking back on it, it's like it's a very James Bondy parody version of Lex Luthor to me. But
so I'm going to do a deep cut for some people. If anybody ever watched Superboy, because I did, Sherman Howard was a pretty good Lex Luthor in that show.
I never watched that show. Was that like in the late 90s or when was that? No, that had to be like 2000s or something, right?
No, it was first came on and it was 88 to 90 something, I think.
Oh, okay. So I don't think I've seen it then because I'm imagining almost like an early 2000s show that never existed, I guess.
Yeah, in Comic Tropes, I can't remember if that was the first, because in the middle of seasons 1 and 2, they switch actors, or maybe it was 2 and 3. They switch actors, so they had 2 different actors playing Superboy, and Gerard Christopher was one of them. The other one was like something Newton. I can't remember the name, but it was a fun show for the time. I mean, it was 88, so I was like 6.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So who was the voice actor for Lex Luthor in the Super Friends cartoon?
Super Friends?
You remember Lex Luthor in the Super Friends cartoon? And the Legion of
Super Friends was a little before my time.
Well, that is a little before your time. That's true.
And I don't remember it like re-airing. And I haven't gone back and rewatched it.
He's probably like my first exposure to a Lex Luthor character.
Are you saying it because was it somebody we know?
I was just wondering who it was.
Okay,
I don't know who it was. But
I feel like that's the era of like animation where most of the voices were like professional voice actors that you didn't, unless they probably were like in Hanna-Barbera stuff and Looney Tunes or whatever. But and legends in their own right.
Says Stan Jones.
Stan Jones.
Oh, I know him. No, I don't.
Oh, good old Stan. Stan.
Yeah, man. Every time they've tried to do Brainiac in pretty much every version of animation and stuff, I've and of the TV shows, it's been a little cringy to me almost.
Hey, now, in Harley Quinn.
I mean, that's a very different thing, but yeah, it's comedic, you know. But yeah, it's the best Lex Luthor is tough. So I would say as long as it's anybody but Jesse Eisenberg, we're good. That's the one that just triggers me. Definitely should be bald. I'm gonna go out on I'm not it doesn't have to naturally be bald, but just be bald for the role. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. That's not even the worst. That's not even the worst Lex Luthor. It's almost Voldemort. Kevin Spacey, worst Lex Luthor.
Really?
I would actually take Jesse Eisenberg over Kevin Spacey. Just want to acknowledge I've got a couple people that popped in. Collector P, thank you for coming in to our anniversary or our makeup anniversary show. And I did want to acknowledge that Christina met Michael at Fan Expo in Cleveland. Her friend proposed to him to play music. Oh, okay. For them to play music together. Okay. For a second, I thought that sounded like a marriage proposal.
Well, she proposed to him. Wow.
I think he was married probably at the time, even, but that's bold. But that's cool. So if that was your friend, that means that was Bigby, right?
Yes.
That's cool. And then shout out to Tyler. The Inside of You podcast. You know what? I got to be honest. I don't think I've ever really watched a full podcast or listened to a full podcast, but I've seen tons and tons and tons and tons of the clips on YouTube, like the 5 and 6 minute long chunks of it. But,
he also does a show with Tom Welling called Talkville.
Yes. And I've seen some clips, like some shorts of that too, where it's like they go back and rewatch Smallville, and then they have like people from the crew or cast members on. That's fun. I like it. There's so many of those now. Oh boy, that's tough.
Erica Durant's for me. Erica Durant's from Smallville for me is the best Lois so far. Terry Hatcher was really good, though. Don't get me wrong. The chemistry her and Dean Cain had was great, but there's something about Erica Durance in Smallville.
I'm kind of with Margot Kidder. Like, to me, that's a hard one to top. That's tough. I have a lot of respect. Who I'm is it was Amy Adams? Was that who was the Cavill Lois?
Yes.
Yeah, she was pretty good actually. I don't know. Has there been a bad Lois?
Not the traditional Lois brunette, though.
No, that's very true.
As much as I like her as an actress, Kate Bosworth so far has been my least favorite Lois.
Oh wow, I forgot. So that was the Brandon Routh Lois?
Yeah.
Okay, man, I forgot about her. So yeah, not terrible, but definitely not memorable, obviously. Yeah, I agree, Mr. Science Snake. Like their chemistry together was just top notch.
Right.
Richard, I mean, it's a very good point. This is kind of like the Dora meme though, like why not both for me? I mean, I don't know, like porque why no los dos or whatever. Yeah, it's there's that, and then gosh, there was Laura Vanderroot, a Supergirl in that show. That show was firing on all cylinders. I think Bigby would have drafted the cast of that show in a fantasy draft. I mean, it was that was like the beginning of the CW era, so
yeah, they had some. They knew how to pick them.
Yeah, I mean, hell, it even was that the one that had Alan Rickson as Aquaman? No, that was later on, wasn't it? Because
what's that?
Wasn't Alan Rickson in that as Aquaman, or am I thinking?
Yeah, Alan Rickson was Aquaman in that.
Okay, yeah. So they had a lot of good people.
They were going to do a spinoff Aquaman that was going to be Justin Hartley, and on one of the seasons of Smallville they have the pilot. The pilot actually looked really good, but since that fell through, they brought him on as Green Arrow for I think season 6 or 7. I can't remember.
Right.
Big B was the casting director.
That's awesome. So you can catch Big B on the Michael and Tom Welling podcast. He definitely has some guest roles over there, talking about his time on Smallville. So this has been the Smallville Superman podcast.
We let the chat. That's one of the best things about this whole show and the years that it's been, as we've let the chat be as much a part of the show as you and I are part of the show and have as much input.
Very much so. Very much so. Just a guy in a hoodie for Cyborg. Yeah. It was, man, I'm like conflating that now with Deathlock from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was also kind of a weird interpretation of that character. It was kind of almost similar. Super old guy who was kind of overweight. Yeah, that's funny. Smallville's great times. I don't know how well it would hold up going back to it these days, but
it was right place, right time though for what it was. It was really good.
Yeah,
it's like watching. Buffy was great back in the day. When you rewatch it, it's like still okay, but it doesn't hold up like it was when you were watching it.
No, and it's so true of things that are, I kind of call them like pathfinders for a genre. There's so many things that take and borrow and steal from those things that it's kind of hard to go back and watch them now, because that formula has been almost perfected, but because of what those shows did. There was a thing that came up on Reddit I was looking at the other day about Goodfellas, and I just rewatched Goodfellas. I think I saw it when I was really probably too young to kind of digest and absorb it. And I've been watching Sopranos, so watching Goodfellas kind of made sense. Watching some mafia stuff. Goodfellas is like revered as being one of the best movies of all time. Watching Goodfellas without really remembering most of it, I think it's a really like average movie, to be honest. Like, but the problem is that Goodfellas inspired so much that came after it that it's probably hard to kind of watch it with fresh eyes and not think about all those things that came after it, including a bunch of Scorsese movies that came after it, that are similar or have similar kind of story beats and feel kind of like retreads almost if you haven't seen them first. But yeah, so good point. I've actually been rewatching some of the early Simpsons kind of off and on, and man, it's such a different show. I miss early Simpsons so bad. So people can, of course, chime in with other stuff. I know one thing is Bigby was super excited to show off a bunch of stuff. Did you want to show off some stuff, Bigby?
Oh, sure, I can show off some stuff.
Oh, I can do it, he says, knowing that I know
my arm.
Yeah.
So we were talking. I'm not sure if I showed this last week, but this showed up in the mail. So this was
here. Let me see if I can remember how to be. Nope, that's not it. Why is my layout thing all weird here? There we go. Nope, that's not it.
Right next to it. You're right there. You go.
The layout thing got all strange for me. Sorry, folks.
So it's a Captain Britain mask to go with my green slab that I have here, my green labeled slab. So,
are you gonna crack it?
I don't know. I might just slip it in the bag with the slab and throw it in there. But yeah, so that showed up.
Richard loves your new background, by the way, as do I.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks to Travis and my friend Pete for helping me get that bookshelf moved up here from the downstairs. So, Whatnot show with Trav. He had this was okay. This is going way back to May the 4th. So, I picked up first Prince of Darth Maul.
Yeah. Tied right with like 3 other comics.
Yeah.
Although the photo cover is nice.
That's the photo cover, right. The entire Darth Maul miniseries, which was
hell yeah,
was the big one, was number 2, right? Because it's first Cad Bane.
Yeah.
So that one used to be super expensive. It's not as expensive as it was
until he went out like a punk,
right?
In the Book of Boba Fett or whatever. I'm kidding when I say that, by the way. I don't think I should have any bearing on like how cool the character is. It's like
a bunch of Darth Vader keys that I picked up. Oh, that one says Bigby on it. Darth Vader #1.
It's the first appearance of Bigby.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. So you got Oh, nice.
Dynamic Forces, Princess Leia, some Mandalorian variant cover #1s.
Hella Star Wars.
Yeah, and they were. I don't know if you guys ever go to Trav's sales, but they're super affordable. So, yeah, the early Dark Empire one. So
nice.
Oh, and then some Kanan.
So he is the last Jedi. No, that's not what it is. Kanan, last Padawan. That's what it is. Last Jedi. You're showing that up. That's cool.
And on that bulk collection that I got, I opened one of the random boxes, and on the top there was a couple of variant covers. That was pretty cool. I showed those to you.
Yeah,
right. But
my camera's gonna die. By the way, apparently I unplugged it. So hang on.
Uh-oh.
Good thing we're showing your stuff.
Yeah. So I knew Bronze would love this one. It's an homage to that classic cover without the ad for the bicycle at the top. And then this cool variant, Storm variant. So that was in there. And then another Travis claim sale. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, this is a lot of stuff. All right. So he had a Carrie Andrews themed sale. So, Spider-Man Reign 2 Carrie Andrews cover. And then a variant to that one, the Old Man Spider-Man. And then a cool Rogue cover. This is
for the record. I am still here. I'm just making you the only person on screen since my camera's dead for a minute until it recharges a little bit.
All right. This is not Carrie Andrews. This is a Predator Spider-Man #1 variant cover that he had on his sale.
Hey, can you
when I say like really affordable, I mean guys, like $3-4 for almost like below cover price on. And all these are variants.
Can you show that one a little closer again? I want to see that character.
The Predator Spider-Man one?
Yeah, I want to see like the. Whoa, that's trippy. Okay, cool.
Yeah. The character design cover.
That's such a great book too.
And then got this Zerdy X-Men Gambit and Rogue.
Nice.
And at some point I came to the realization, everybody always asked me who my favorite X-Man was, and I was like, oh, Wolverine. I've decided it's probably Rogue, actually.
Nice choice.
So we got a Carrie Andrews Spider-Man 252 special cover. The what's that called? Facsimile. A limited edition Spider-Punk Arms Race Carrie Andrews cover. Like, he just had all these limited edition covers, and he was letting them go for like these. I think most of these were like $250. This is a Virgin variant. First appearance of the Black Suit, I think.
Like a facsimile?
Yeah, facsimile edition.
Okay.
Like this is a facsimile Hulk 181.
Okay.
But Carrie Andrews. Cool foil Dazzler #1.
Right on.
Carrie Andrews. We got Rogue Savage Land.
Always going to be a fan.
Yeah. And Rogue and Gambit variant edition. Nice. Most of the stuff is Carrie Andrews because it was a Carrie Andrews show. Sins of Sinister Rogue foil variant.
God, that's a good Rogue on the front there.
Yeah. And this one, I'm not sure what book this is, but it's a sideways of all the X-Men characters. So
very cool.
From that 90s era. And then randomly another Star Wars book. Because Padme, you know.
Because
I don't know, he puts up books, and when he's putting them up and they're going for cheap, and I'm like, I have Key Collector open, I'm like, oh, that's a $20 book, and he's selling it for $3. I'm like, oh, okay. So and then this is the last one.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Those Transformers guys.
Yeah, them Transformers. Yeah.
They're robots in disguise.
Yeah. You know? So those are some cool pickups. And then one more thing to show. Mr. Akins from What's on the Comic Rack. We were just randomly talking about like Wizard 1/2 things, and my birthday is coming up, and he's like, hey, did you get a package in the mail? I'm like, I had no clue he sent me anything. Just randomly he sent me Tales of the Darkness half.
Oh, nice.
I was like, oh, that's cool. Thanks, man. So yeah.
I always like the Wizard half stuff.
Yeah, those are always fun. So your camera is back up and running now, maybe?
It is. We'll see how long it lasts, but should be hopefully good to go.
How long that lasts.
See how long that lasts. Well, if we're showing off stuff, I got a couple things I can show off.
Yeah. Do it, man.
Do it. Nope.
Always now.
In the wrong one. There we go. So I've been on. Let's see. I'll show this off first because you showed off those Transformers. So I picked up. This is kind of interesting. It's an RC John Jang variant where 100% of the proceeds went to breast cancer research / awareness. Not a huge fan of the foundation they chose. I think it's kind of a controversial one, but I love the cover. My daughter loves RC. It is for charity. It came with a special pink comic capsule, and it's a very cool foil Jean Jang RC cover there.
That's cool.
And it came in like special packaging and stuff too. I can't remember. I think it's issue 20, I think. But yeah, very cool. I'm not really collecting a lot of the Transformers issues these days, although I do want to try to get some of the kind of special variants they've come out with, like that one.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And then I went on kind of a spree. I may have showed one or two of these off recently, but I've been getting a bunch of Captain Marvel, classic Captain Marvel stuff. But I did pick up Captain Marvel #1.
Nice.
In pretty good condition too. Probably like I'm gonna go probably like a 6.5 or so, so not too bad. Really excited to have that. And then yeah, just a ton of stuff for my run. Like I got a copy of 26.
First Thanos
cover there, and the kind of hiding in the corner there. Early Jim Starlin. It's like a second issue on the run. 27, some early Drax or early, characters like that. Very cool stuff there.
A Super Scroll in the background.
It's the Sinister Super Scroll.
Nice.
And then this was on a short boxed auction. And through Miss Jen of Space Cadet Comics, who's another member of the EXP, I've actually acquired 3 copies of Captain Marvel 32. One of them's in really rough shape, and I literally like put in kind of a backup bid for that and got it for like I think $1.
Wow.
But the other 2, one of them's in mid grade and one of them's high grade, so it just kind of all came together, and I ended up with 3 copies, and I'll eventually only have one of them.
And the significance of that is that what was that?
I can't remember what 32 is a minor. It's a minor key. I can't remember what it was.
Like Origin of Thanos or something?
Maybe, yeah, but it's not. I know it's not one of the more sought after issues. I think 33 is the Origin of Thanos.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
So it's leading into there. Maybe it was like second. Oh, I don't even want to say because I'll be wrong. I think I showed this one too.
33. They in the first Nitro.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
They when a mommy Titan and a daddy Titan love each other very much.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a baby Titan.
But I've been trying to work on most of that run, and especially the Jim Starlin part of that run. It is Origin of Thanos. Okay, cool. Well, there we go. And then I think 33 like follows it up. But yeah, they're all early Thanos appearances.
32 is the origin of Captain Marvel's favorite sandwich.
But the big thing I got to show off, literally and figuratively, got my second original art page. The gentleman seated directly to my side gave me my first for Christmas last year, which was very generous of him. A nice Ryan Otley Spider-Man page, artist I love. This is my second one, and we get a nice Mark Bagley page with my favorite character on it, with Cyclops on it, blasting an optic blast at Toad. So I'll kind of show it a little bit farther back here. Get an idea of it here, and then you got Cyclops' eye. This is from All New X-Men. You got Toad realizing what's going to happen, and then you got him kind of trying to get out of being captured by doing a blast.
Interesting placement of that candlestick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the way Cyclops rolls. So that was All New X-Men. I think it was volume 2, issue 7, page 8. But to have, Mark Bagley, had the pleasure of interviewing him at Washington State SummerCon last year. which I know Big B was in the audience. I know Comic Trips was in the audience. So he's kind of it's kind of become a thing. I like to collect art pages from artists I've interviewed and key comic books from artists I've interviewed, like Jim Starlin, stuff like that. So that's kind of the bigger stuff I got recently.
That's super cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
There we go. The same thing that happens to everything else. Exactly. So we were just talking about that. So I know Big B did, right?
Yeah, I was on Travis's Whatnot show on Sunday, and yeah, he was doing. I think he had 10 of them, and so I bid on a couple of them. I think I got a #1 A cover. I got the #2 foil advanced copy, and I got a blank sketch cover, so I can do some sketching on it.
Thanks, Tyler. Yeah, it's just kind of a fun thing.
Yeah, no, it's super cool.
And I mean, like, honestly, like, you know, I think we talked about it with our John Byrne episode. Like, dude, there's like getting a John Byrne page probably never going to happen. Getting a, you know, who's Jim Lee page probably not going to happen. J. Scott Campbell probably not going to happen. Adam Hughes, same thing. You know, it's all my favorite artists that are still around. Probably not going to happen. All my favorite artists that are not still around, definitely not going to happen unless something really bizarre happens. You know, like Neil Adams. I think there's some Neil Adams stuff you can kind of get that's from his later work. It's not terribly priced, but it's nothing that I would want from him. I wouldn't seek it out because it's not characters or books I had any association with. But yeah, it's kind of cool to collect, you know, artists that you have a thing for that are still around, that are still offering pages that you can get.
Right.
Kind of, yeah, funny story on that page, by the way. Not the page I originally wanted.
Right. What happened with that? There was something odd that happened with that.
Yeah, I got it from there's a major art dealer out there. I'm not going to name drop them like this because they made it right. I don't want to make them look bad or anything like that. But they're a huge art selling seller on eBay. And there was a page that I really was looking at. It was a Cyclops page, and I bought it, and about a week and a half had passed, and I hadn't seen any shipping on it, and I eventually got a message, and it was like, looks like we sold that a long time ago, and it's just been listed, and no one's you know, bought it or whatever, which explains why it was so cheap. Like it was a ridiculously good deal. And so they kind of went, like they said, up to, oh, my camera's going to die again. So I'm going to be a disembodied voice for a while.
All right. Oh, good.
So, oh no, I want to do it this way.
That's the best.
Yeah. So they said, oh, you know, go ahead and go to our inventory, and any page up to this amount of money, which is more than what that page cost, we'll just give it to you. And I searched Mark Bagley and Cyclops, and it turns out they had another page, and actually, to be honest, kind of a better page. But yeah. Yep. Hey, what's up, Erwin?
You like me doing the bronze,
yes,
the bronze puppet.
Great. Really dumb story. I got a smoking deal on a smartwatch and plugged it in earlier just so I could do an update on it. Because when it came, it needed an update, and I plugged it in, unplugged my camera, and forgot to plug my camera back in before I ran my daughter to her dentist appointment.
You know what? This would be a really good time for
community artwork.
Yes.
Right? All right. Okay. Right. I was making sure.
Right. You're thinking the same thing. As usual, our ever so slight delay caught me there. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, man. It's all good.
I'm just a voice. I don't care. So
you can just pick up the whole screen with art, and then it doesn't matter if we're disembodied voices.
That's right. Disembodied voice don't care. But hey, while I'm pulling this up, do you want to tell people how they can get their artwork on the show?
So if you would like to have your artwork featured on the show, which is a big part of why the foundation of this show, speaking of our anniversary and everything, we really wanted to encourage people to create art and grow as artists. So if you would like to have your art shown, just send it to Bronze or myself on Instagram, and make sure to let us know that you would like it shown, because sometimes people just sometimes people just send us pictures and say, hey, isn't this cool? And I'm like, did you want me to show that? So
speaking of, did you want us to show this? Hey, Awesome Sauce. You're not able to see this right now, but man, we are showing a very violent and graphic Invincible versus Superman moment. We were talking about
Superman.
Spider-Man. Sorry, I still got Superman on my mind. He's kind of doing something that Superman could do, which is ripping Spider-Man in half, which is crazy. But yeah, we were talking about the Invincible team up issue, because there's a foil issue of that in those Battle Beast books, and this is kind of the what if that went wrong.
This is the rejected cover.
Yeah. This is Dominic Gomez artwork, really great artwork, just very, very violent.
Pretty violent. Dom, what do you got against Spidey? You know, Dom draws a lot of great Spidey stuff, so I think just I think he was playing off of that Marvel team up cover.
Yeah, absolutely. So great work on that one, Dominic. So we have a piece from Eddie Rodriguez from Livewire here on a Superman sketch cover. I really like his style translated to the characters like this, with like the fun hair and everything. It does a really good translation.
So cool. Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely.
Eddie,
great
awesome
work.
Way. And yeah, just amazing.
Yeah. 100%. Elliot Wright coming in with Aquaman, who got mentioned earlier in the show.
Yeah, it's really good job on that.
Actually gonna zoom in a little bit on that, because there's so much detail there. Fantastic work there.
Yeah, I love it. Good job, Elliot.
Yeah, I think anybody would be happy to have that sketch cover.
And if I didn't say good job, Dominic, your piece was awesome too.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to downplay that.
Definitely wanted to get to this one because we have Erwin in the chat.
Hey,
Erwin, excellent work. Excellent work. That's fantastic.
That. Great work on that.
Love the face and the eyes here is awesome.
Yeah. So wow.
Man,
amazing.
Our community artwork we've had to show has just been amazing. And I really have to kind of mention something we mentioned before. Do not let how good some of these pieces are intimidate you if you're thinking about sending in your stuff. Don't worry. I've shown my artwork on the show before. You can still send in your artwork even if it isn't that good. These people are doing awesome work. You know, we've had a lot of awesome art, but we do welcome all levels of talent.
Everyone starts somewhere, right?
Yes. In fact, I guess that's the other cool thing, talking about doing this for over a year. Yeah, Elgato was all over it, Chris. Having done this for over a year is even seeing some of the artists that we're talking about, how they've improved over that time frame.
Yeah,
that's really cool to see.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we got Phil Tastic coming in with the this kind of. He's been doing like a series kind of like this. I don't know what to call this style.
It's like like a cinematic style, like almost like a film cell style. Maybe. Yeah.
It's been really cool. He did like a Deadpool that was really awesome, and I can't remember who we showed last week. I can't remember the character, but there was another amazing piece we showed. Yeah. But he's doing like this newer style, and I really like it.
Super cool.
Very good job. Phil Tastic, Comics and Art. We mentioned him earlier in the show. We got Rich Stankey. Yeah. I need to pull up my notes on this one. Sorry, give me 1 second, because I did have some notes on this one. I don't always get those, but luckily he included some information on this one. This is it was an original character. It was supposed to be a cover for Alterna Comics. It came out on a Wednesday anthology, but the slated issue was due almost 2 years ago, so he has no idea if it will see print with them or not. last update he got was that it was still intended for use. So, very good. We're talking about people who have different levels of professional versus amateur, and all are welcome. Yeah.
That's super cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Guy. Awesome. Jack-o'-lantern.
Very neat. Roscoe. I know Roscoe was at Motor City Comic Con this weekend. I know I saw like a post with him and a couple other people, and including like K-pop, who usually pops in. Hopefully he had a good time at that show. Another fantastic piece of Roscoe art, which I always love showing off. We got Two-Face here. That's looking really good.
Super cool.
And then this is Scott nailing it. These are some great, I'll say it, t-shirt worthy designs that he's doing.
Right. Yeah.
And, those have been following along.
I hadn't been able to look at the cover of the book that the guy was reading. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's that classic.
The decapitation cover.
Yeah. I love that the Wolverine cover with Sabretooth on it.
Right. Yeah, that's super cool.
That's an homage to that, obviously. But
yeah.
And then but finally read all my comics. My gosh. Who among us has not felt that before? Like my to read pile, since it's digital, it's kind of shocking when I really stop and think about it. Like it's insanely large. I get to finally say that about something.
I was gonna say, wait, didn't we release the Snyder cut?
Let's see if I can get a couple more minutes of camera time here with everybody.
Who did that last one? That was
Scott Hasselwood. Yeah, sorry, Scott Hasselwood. My bad. I should have mentioned that. So Scott Hasselwood, John, fellow Portland guy. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys have met.
Yeah,
or know each other.
I would hope so. I'm sure my camera will die again. I probably get like 5 minutes out of it or whatever each time. So apologies when that happens inevitably. I do think we got to cover a couple news stories real quick. You got time for that, Big B?
Yeah, I got time for. I can be here all night.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to be here all night necessarily because my camera definitely won't be here all night. But I think we have time to cover some news. We got nerd news in the house. Some of the first videos I started doing on YouTube were nerd news related. So I figured why not cover some nerd news with my friend Bigby. And let's start off with some terrible, awful, icky news. Unfortunately, kind of inevitable though. Layoffs happening at Diamond at the executive level. This is from ICV2, which is a great, if you're looking for industry news, it's a great website for that as well as other stuff. So Ad Populum taking over at Diamond Comic Distributors, and we've started to see some layoffs with some of the executives getting laid off here. Chris Powell, who's the Chief Sales and Service Officer for Diamond divisions of Diamond Comic Distributors, Alliance Game Distributors, Diamond Book Distributors, and others, posted on Facebook that Friday that was his last day. He kind of thanked everybody for the last 13 years that he'd been working there, and he was previously at Lone Star, which is, if you're not familiar, my comic shop is Lone Star Comics.
Right.
Before that, and then you also have Rich Johnson, who's the Vice President of Sales and Business Development of Diamond Book Distributors, posting that he and his sales team had been laid off on Friday as well. As several other people are mentioned here as well too, that they were let go, and it's really just unfortunate. Yeah,
right.
It's not good stuff, but it's also not terribly surprising given what's been going on over there. Hopefully everybody had their resumes kind of brushed up and up to date and everything. So another news story that I thought was just kind of weird or interesting. This is at comicbook.com, although it's covered in a lot of other places. Got kind of a soft relaunch of Spider-Gwen coming up here. I don't know why I don't know why you'd ever want to brand anything spider related as Brand New Day, but they did. Not a very not a very good idea in my opinion, but they did it.
Right.
But we've got more of a black suit kind of coming for Gwen. New costume, new powers, new band. I don't know how I feel about this, but I mean, whatever. At a certain point, comics have to change. It's like they can't just be the same thing over and 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 over again.
So what's going to happen to the other Ghost Spider?
Well, so this is by the same creative team. I do know that it's Stephanie Phillips, and I'm so sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but Paolo Villanelli. It's the same creative team that's currently working on Ghost Spider, as I understand it. They're just kind of relaunching, and it sounds like to me it just sounds like they're trying to change things up. I think they're just they're just trying to change stuff up. It's
okay.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything too crazy going on here, honestly.
So it's not a different. It's not a different Gwen.
I don't think so. It sounded like it was. She's making her 616 her permanent home. So I mean, it sounds like it's just Gwen. I cannot remember which reality she's from, but it sounds like she's just coming over to this one full time instead of being kind of almost like a permanent guest. Yeah, sure. That's right. Good point. Because she's now Gwenpool, right? Yeah. That's messy. Ugh. Wouldn't that give away your identity? Yeah, it didn't matter so much. Yeah, she does call herself Ghost Spider. But yeah, it is kind of interesting. This is a character where I've never really, I hate to say I've never really loved this character until I did like the Sony animated versions quite a bit. And I started trying to reading the comics a couple times, and it never just grabbed me. Might not be for me. But yeah, I don't know.
I know Trav's been reading going back and rereading all of it, and he's been enjoying it. So
it seems like it's well done. Maybe it's partially because I think I'm one of those people who suffers from too many spider variants.
Gotcha.
Being out there.
Yeah.
I think that could be it. But I thought it was kind of neat that they're trying something different, or at least worth watching. Speaking of trying something different,
I really like that art though on the costume. That's really cool.
That's part of what it got me interested too, is because it is kind of interesting visual refresh for her. Although I like her look more than anything else about her. But I'm always down for a new cool costume. But speaking of trying something different, we have DC doing All-Star Superman as a full cast audiobook, which I think is pretty cool. This is over on IGN.com. So we're getting kind of, whatever you want to call it, a radio drama style or I can't ensemble audiobook or whatever. There's probably a good term for these. I didn't recognize anybody. I'm sure I would recognize some of these voices from audiobooks or something like that, or podcasts that do this kind of stuff. But there's a huge, cast. They're not really doubling up people too much. It looks like they have, except for Sean Keenan, Elias Reyes is Bizarro and Atlas. But other than that, for the most part, it seems like the characters are differentiated off. Hey Tyler, thanks for stopping in and thanks for wishing us a happy anniversary. We appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. But I think this is neat. I always love this kind of stuff. I remember listening to
cool.
There was like an audio book version of like Nightfall from the Batman Breaking into the Bat storyline and stuff that I really enjoyed. I think it was kind of like an audio drama kind of thing.
Is the new Rick and Morty season out?
Must be.
It
must be for review. Yeah, for at least for early reviews or something. Yeah, I saw some article about them like ranking all the seasons or whatever.
I used to have an audiobook of or audio play of the original, like the first Star Wars movie when it came out on a cassette tape back in the day, back in the 70s, and you play it. And I remember
There's some stuff like that,
and listening to it over and over and over and over again.
There's some like script differences or whatever, I think, that are kind of closer to the original script for that, I think, that were kind of a big deal for people that tried to discuss, kind of nail down early canon. I remember seeing that one mentioned quite a bit. This is the last story that I really had that I thought was kind of worth sharing. This is kind of interesting. Wolverine by Chris Claremont is coming out, and we're getting kind of some extension of some classic Wolverine story from Chris Claremont, which is, I think, is always, we talked about Roy Thomas potentially being a co-creator of Wolverine. I think it's kind of hard not to argue that people we talked about recently, like Chris Claremont and John Byrne, didn't have a huge impact on Wolverine in his early years. Not co-creators, of course. In my book, at least.
A cool cover.
It is a very cool cover. And I'll show the other one here too. Interesting. I don't know who did that one. Main cover is McNiven, Steve McNiven, and this is a Jing Yoon cover. Jung Yoon. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that incorrectly. But that one there is very Frank Miller-esque.
I was going to say that one he captured a very good feel for Frank Miller's art.
Yeah. So this to me is interesting because we're seeing, Return to Japan, return, kind of the hand storyline, stuff like that, with Sabretooth involved. So I don't know. This looks interesting to me. I'm always excited to see Chris Claremont return to X-Men stuff, and kind of, what do you call that? Interstitial, where it's like telling a story that happened in the continuity, and we're kind of getting the new version of it, or the revelation of it.
That was previously unreleased, except for in a special Chris Claremont Paragon collection that's going to be in this.
In April, it was confirmed that another hard-to-find Claremont story, which was only available in Marvel-made Paragon Collection Chris Claremont limited edition hardcover, would be getting reprinted in another new one-shot, which is X-Men by Chris Claremont, A Prelude to a Future Past #1. The issue, which is co-written by John Byrne, who also co-illustrates alongside Salvador Larroca, will uncover, or LaRocca, I've never knew how to pronounce that name correctly, will uncover exactly how the eponymous heroes saved Rachel Summers from her torment as one of the mutant hunting hounds of their devastated timeline. This issue is expected to arrive in stores on July 2nd.
Did it say John Byrne?
It was co-written.
Co-illustrated, too.
Yeah, co-written and co-illustrated, yeah. But that was in the whatever the Marvel made Paragon collection by Chris Claremont came out, which I don't know when that came out. That's funny though, because I feel like I've seen part of this story before. I wonder if it was also included in another. Maybe I'm just remembering something else. Because there's also like Phoenix the Untold Story. There's a couple other kind of things like this.
That's cool though, that they're making some stuff that's been like really hard to find and read available. So.
Yeah, 100%. And the story we talked about, Wolverine by Chris Claremont #1, will be on sale August 6th. So some pretty neat stuff coming up. I mean, stuff that I know is kind of up our alley. Cool. Yeah,
that Wolverine cover is really good.
This isn't really, I don't consider this like a news story, but kind of the last like bulletin or news item or whatever. It's not really a news site. This is Peach Momoko's Facebook page. But she posted earlier today. I'll just read the post here. I hate to post something like this, but it is important. Fraud alert. Scams of SIG and Remark and other artists are happening. Please research before buying from a stranger. I never homage or imitate a cover or sketch and turn them into a remark. We've reported this fraud and hope this seller gets caught. I don't know. My camera's going to die again, so sorry, folks. I don't know more of the details of this. However, I do know I saw other artists talking about, like I saw Sozamika talking about fake signatures going around, some other things along those lines. Anna Zoe here talks about it, talking to Tyler Kirkham. So there's definitely some stuff going on here.
That sucks.
Another top fan here says that there's another page claiming to be Peach's personal account. which is scamming people. The things that people are saying in the comments here, please, of course, take with a grain of salt. I don't know if any of those things are true. Anna's a very reputable artist. I've actually had conversations with her before, so I trust what she's saying there. But I'm just talking about some of these other kind of random comments. Got to watch out for that. But I've been hearing about this going around. I think we mentioned Swaggelhouse earlier. I think he did a video on this too. So that might be something to go watch after this if you're looking for some more information. He's usually very good about covering stuff like this. So yeah, I saw something else about AI listings where posts were using AI to list like generated versions of a comic to make it look like they really have the comic in hand, but they're using just other posts as the feed for that AI generated post.
People suck.
Bizarre. Very bizarre.
Good night, John. Good night, Awesome Sauce.
Yeah, have a good night, guys. With my camera dead for the fourth time, I'm probably gonna say we should call it a night soon, but
yeah, there was a sign. It was meant to be the length of the show.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's been cool to talk a little bit about the year that was, and look forward to the year that's coming.
That's the one thing I'll say. I'll do this because it makes more sense. We had this. Yes, thank you. Sock Puppet rise up.
Socko.
We had this year behind us. Do you have any? And I'm putting you on the spot, and I realize that. Do you have any goals or anything you'd like to accomplish in the next year?
I think we just continue improving. I think we're really starting to nail down some specific format stuff for us that's been working and people seem to be enjoying, so that's cool. So we're kind of having some recurring themes that's the spotlight, the artist spotlight, and that kind of thing. So that's cool. We're trying to work that into like a regular rotation. So I think you guys are going to continue to see the evolution of the show. But I'm just excited to just see what the year brings as far as new friends and the friends that I've already got, and the growth and appreciation of those people in my life. So
I would echo that for sure, and I would say the goal I have, and not necessarily every week or whatever, but I would like to have more guests on. Content creators, hopefully some comic creators, and I've thought about you. I'll say this live because I have zero self-control. I thought about doing maybe a quote unquote call-in show where people could pop in. Especially if we were aware of who they are. You got to be careful with that sometimes on the internet, because people can come on and do some silly things, but something I thought about doing is since the chat does drive so much of our show.
Right. Yeah, no, that would be cool. Yeah, I know Jay does that with his Hydra Asylum show, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And shout out to Comic Tropes, who does it kind of on a times 10 level, where he's got an awesome platform over there. He'll have Kickstarters and Indiegogo, comic creators that are doing campaigns come on and talk about their comic. And that's really awesome. I really appreciate that he does that. It's pretty epic.
I think it would be cool I think I would echo that sentiment, though. It would be cool to have more guests on the show. Swaggelhouse was a call-in show too.
Yeah. So I think that'd be fun. But yeah, I just hope those of you that are watching still, we've had fun doing this crazy experiment that's kind of turned into a full-time, permanent thing that we're doing, and it's something we're trying to make better all the time. And we appreciate the suggestions. We appreciate the support. Anything you want to see, that we can try to make happen, we'd love to hear from you. Some people are probably gonna say maybe it'd be better if there was two people on camera, and some people Some people think maybe it's better with only one. Yeah, it's funny how it works because there's a delay, but it's not like the kind of delay that really helps you. Because like you could pull them, but it's still going to air what already happened. But yeah, it's interesting how that works.
Tropes is a fan of Elgato. So there you go.
Yes, he loves Elgato. So for those that don't know, I use an Elgato capture card to connect my Sony ZV-1F camera to my computer. So that's how I get my video capture, is through an Elgato capture card. Yeah, my poor camera. Too bad my batteries aren't even close by. I could have switched out to a fresh battery, but it would be stupid to go grab one at this point.
All good, brother. It's all good. So
next week I'll plug in my camera.
Next week. Tune in next week when you find out there's exciting answers too.
Our guest will be Elgato. Speaking of coming up next week, in the meantime, is there anything you got coming up that we should tune into or make sure we check out over on the Big B McFly, the Comic Guy channel?
Got all kinds of cool existing content, some sweet shorts, highlighting some cool artwork. Yeah, I got another one. I got a video I'm working on for that bulk collection that I picked up. So we'll see if we can get that one put out this week. Yeah, there'll be a few things coming up.
Nice. Jay, our esteemed producer on the dials and switches in the background. Anything for the Hydra Asylum channel coming up that we should tune into?
So I don't have anything specifically planned for this week, but every Saturday night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, we do what I call a Hydra Hangout. I have some friends come on, and this past week we talked about the Peacemaker trailer, the Spider Noir teaser, Old Guard 2 trailer, Superman trailer, obviously. And then I had we talked about horror movies with my buddy Scott Wilkie he's a writer for Bad Bug Media.
Nice.
We also talked about his he's written a bunch of stuff, but he has this thing right now called the Periwinkle Saga. And how that started out was a book called Periwinkle, where Belsnickel and Krampus get together with some elves and they basically kill Santa. And the story is about an elf named Periwinkle that exacts bloody revenge on all the people that killed Santa. So this spirals out into the universe because Santa was like the head of this mythical board of people. So the next book, Cupid, is about, Cupid kind of losing his mojo in the love world, and it's kind of a heist book. Then the latest one he had was called Frost, about Jack Frost.
Okay.
Jack Frost is kind of the enforcer / hitman for his father, Old Man Winter. Some of the coolest kills I've ever seen with ice ever. And the one he's working on now is going to be called O'Hare. That's going to be about the Easter Bunny and Baby New Year. So really exciting stuff. Check out Bad Bug Media. If you want to, come by, hang out in the chat. Saturday, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Bigby's been on before. Bigby actually popped in almost at the very end this time. That was really appreciated. And again, for both of you, the invitation's always open. Just let me know whenever y'all want to come on.
Appreciate it, man. That's awesome. Definitely tune in. Yeah. And we'll be back next week for Best Coast Comics. You can catch all three of us most likely, unless something goes terribly wrong. And maybe even Elgato. You might show up. We never know. He's a very busy now. But can you do Elgato? Yeah, agreed. Sub-Zero, especially in the newer Mortal Kombat stuff, has done some pretty cool, pretty sweet kills.
I haven't seen the Galactus images. Richard said
I did. I want to know what the context is for those things, because it seems odd. Like I don't know if it's like the promotional image. Jay, have you seen it, Jay?
I've seen it, but I haven't looked at it, if that makes any sense.
No, I gotcha. It's just a very like strange. It's like a very like strange, almost looks like concept art or something. It was a selfie. All right, that's the comment of the night right there for me. That's pretty good. I mean, it's all over. Let me see if I can find it real fast for everybody, and we'll just maybe end on that.
His profile pic for LinkedIn. His dating profile pic.
One moment here, and I'll share this.
This will be my first time seeing it. I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, but I don't. It doesn't like it's not from the movie like very clearly to me.
Why does it say I fixed it?
The second image is this is the first thing I could find on X, but the second image is just like I don't know. It's like their version of.
Oh, they purpled it more.
Yeah, which, whatever. But this is the original image as far as I've seen it.
Gotcha.
I like this person. For science, I made them more gray. Also, yeah. Twitter's a cesspool sometimes, but I don't know. That's kind of interesting.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, people are making fun of it because that's what you do when an image gets released. Yeah. It's like that one. Oh, when that Superman trailer came out, everybody was like, "Oh, the CGI looks stupid in this one shot," and it's like every Marvel movie is. They're not done. Like maybe that's what the final shot will look like, but they're not. They're still working on it. They work on these movies up until the week they come out,
right? Which
is nuts. Maybe it shouldn't be that way, but that's a separate conversation. On that happy note, tune in next week for more Elgato.
That's right. Read comics every day.
This is my selfie. Richard.
This is your selfie. Elgato. That's his selfie.
If it's Galactus, you gotta swipe right, man. Wait, I don't even know. Swiping right. Which one matches you? Swiping right? Swiping left?
Swipe.
I don't know.
Right. I think is match. Right.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never used that.
I've never used that platform. And so people say that I'm always like, I don't know which one that is. Is that the good one or the bad way? Oh.
Like, did I ever tell you that story about my buddy? He used to be a big user of that platform, and we would travel to trade shows, and he would be like, we'd be sitting there at breakfast, and he's talking to me, and he's just swiping. Not even looking at his phone. Just swipe. This is how you play the game. Then you wait for them to contact you back.
I don't. Yeah, it's. Hey, look, I know dating's hard out there for people that aren't in many decades married relationships, but it seems alien and foreign to me. Is all I'll say. All right, folks. Well, we enjoyed having you here. All those things Big B was trying to say as I kept going. Elgato was ruining the show.
Damn you, Elgato.
What I'll say is here's to another year of Best Coast Comics, and or almost a full year at this point, and all we have coming up. And thanks to everybody for sticking around and checking out what we've offered so far. And we'll be back next week with a different topic. Tune in 8 o'clock Pacific time Mondays for Best Coast Comics on Big B McFly's channel, on the Bronze Age Nerd channel, and over on the EXP. Thanks so much to our producer Jay. Thanks so much to everybody for being here, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.